If only I looked like him. If only I had a job. If only I had their life. But what if the life you're jealous of is quietly falling apart? They say comparison is a thief of joy. This story will change how you see your own life. Hi family, my name is Remilekun Idowu and welcome, or should I say welcome back to my storytelling channel where I share emotional, real-life inspired stories that touch the heart, provoke reflection and awaken purpose. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by, and if you're returning, you already know we keep it raw, real and hope-filled. And don't forget, you can watch my older stories like Daniel's story about trust and redemption by clicking the playlist link at the top of your screen. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Before we begin, like this video so it reaches more people. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment at the end sharing what part of this story hit you the hardest, and share it with someone battling comparison, jealousy or silent depression. And now let's dive into today's story titled What You're Chasing May Not Be What You Need. And I promise you'll never see life the same again. Let's go. Folu didn't come from wealth, but his story didn't begin with struggle either. His parents were lecturers, not rich, but not poor either, just content as they did their best to provide the best for their kids. They taught them the importance of integrity, kindness, and faith. His dad used to say, "We may not have the best shoes, but thank God we have feet." But Folu was different. From a young age, he didn't just notice what others had. He wanted it, and he wanted more. That uncle's SUV is amazing. How come we don't have such? The neighbors go on summer trips to the UK. Why can't that be us? That classmate's father bought him a new iPhone. So why can't dad buy me one? The comparison never stopped, that he forgot to recognize and appreciate the amazing life he had. Even as an adult, Folu had what many would call a pretty decent life. He worked in IT, earned a decent salary, rented a clean apartment, and drove a Toyota Corolla that coughed like a smoker in the mornings, but always got him to work. But at night, Instagram became his prison. He scrolled endlessly, monitoring and admiring luxurious life he wished he had. Couples in Santorini, tech bros in Teslas, friends announcing promotions, engagements, and baby showers. And each time he condemned his own life and would often say to himself, "I'm behind. My life is basic. Everyone else is winning." One night, he saw a photo of his old classmate, Tunji, smiling beside a Lexus. Tunji's wife had the model looks he had always wanted. Skin like honey, curves like art. Folu zoomed in, signed and whispered, "This is my type of woman, not Ijoma." Ijoma, his neighbor turned girlfriend, is beautiful in her own soft way. Not the kind that wins followers or makes head turn, but the kind that wins the heart. She cooked for him when he didn't ask, left food at his door, gave him her umbrella when rain surprised him at the gate. On his birthday, she showed up with pounded yam and egusi soup, and a small cupcake with his name scribbled in the icing to celebrate him. She's the type of woman who believed in him and cared deeply for him. No filters, no noise, just love, freely given. But Folu, he barely said thank you to her, because in his mind he thought, if Ijoma had a BBL now, like other women, maybe things might be quite different. He didn't know he was spitting on a blessing that was freely given to him instead of looking for packaging. Baba Sheyi, his mechanic, was another example of a blessing around him. The Corolla broke down again late at night during a pouring rain. Baba Sheyi came with his apprentice to fix the car with a flashlight. Folu did not have money to pay him on the spot, but the old man smiled and said, "Oga, it's okay. Just pay me when you get your salary." That is how understanding Baba Sheyi was. But Folu refused to recognize the grace of the amazing people he is surrounded by. Folu couldn't see it. All he could see was the Benz that his senior colleague John drove, which he wanted. The same John whose marriage was crumbling behind closed doors, and Folu was unaware of it. Folu did not know that John was silently going through emotional abuse in his marriage and would give up everything to have the peaceful life Folu had. The day Folu visited Tunji, his old classmate, was beginning of some sort of reflection for Folu. Folu did not quite expect what he saw at Tunji's place. He went in search of Tunji to see if Tunji could show him the way. But instead, there was no AC, no music, no vibe, just silence and sweat and sadness. Tunji was in the state of depression. Even Tunji's wife had left him. She said, "I'm no longer the man she married," he said. Folu asked what happened, and Tunji signed. Everything was fake. I lived on loans, credit cards, dirty contracts, all for my wife. I was funding a lifestyle I couldn't afford. I thought I was doing it for love, but I was just fueling pride. Tunji paused, then added, "If only I had the type of peaceful life you have." Those words pierced something in Folu. The next blow was from Instagram again. The influencer he followed religiously, glamorous, always glowing, had died. Sickle cell complications, private pain masked with perfect post. Behind the 1,000-watt smile was a woman on painkillers, a warrior. But Folu only ever envied her handbags and her beauty. For the first time, he began to ask himself, what am I really chasing? The breaking point came at the hospital. Folu followed a neighbor whose child was rushed in. He waited at the reception, pacing up and down. That's when he saw her, a woman in a wheelchair, hair unkempt, feeding a child with cerebral palsy, who drawled as she sang song of worship softly. "You are faithful, O Lord," she said repeatedly. She had no designer bag, no glam nails, no vacation plans, just a voice filled with worship and peace. Folu felt something shift inside him. He walked into the bathroom and broke down. Tears poured like rain. That day, he didn't pray for a raise. He didn't ask for a car upgrade. He looked at the mirror and whispered, "Thank you, Lord, for the chance to see how good you are to me." That evening, he sat quietly in his room. He noticed the little fan that had served him for 5 years, the bed his uncle helped him buy, even the framed quote from his mother with the text, "Be thankful even with the little things." Then he remembered how blessed he had been with the amazing people around him. He picked up his phone and called Ijoma. She showed up minutes later, still in a cooking apron, carrying a small flask. He looked at her, not with filtered expectations, but with clarity. "Ijoma, I'm sorry for not noticing how amazing and beautiful you are. Thank you for standing by even when I did not notice you. But I see you now, and I know now that I am blessed." She smiled and said, "I knew you would come around with time. You always had eyes. Now you have vision." Months later, Folu and Ijoma had a small wedding. No pre-wedding shoots, no glamour, just laughter, jollof, and people who truly mattered. They both started their lives small and rooted their home in faith. And one day, Folu's boss called him in. "There is a new office opening in Ghana. We need someone grounded, someone we can trust. I want you to lead." Not because he had the flashiest CV, but because he had grown into a man of depth. And now, I ask you, are you like Folu, crawling endlessly, wishing you were in someone else's shoe? Or maybe you're surrounded by hidden blessings, but you are just too distracted to see them. Today's reminder is simple. Don't let social media, friends, or neighbors become your personal measuring tape in defining your peace. Comparison will make you blind, but gratitude will make you see. So celebrate every milestone in your life, no matter how small, and embrace your journey. So if the story moved you in any way, like this video to boost it through the algorithm. Comment your thoughts on what part of Folu's story stood out to you. Share this with someone silently struggling with envy, and subscribe because every Friday I drop a new story that might just be the mirror someone needs. And don't forget to check our last week's story, Damola and Dimeji's journey of broken trust and quiet redemption. And as you reflect this week, remember that peace doesn't wear a filter. And sometimes the most beautiful things in your life are the ones that are never posted. So go into this week with fresh eyes. Don't miss the miracles and the blessings around you because it's dressed in simplicity. Appreciate the people. Thank God for the basics. The life you need is the one you already have, because God knows exactly why you are in this position or situation you are in right now. He never makes mistakes. And remember, what you have now, someone else is praying for. Until next week, stay humble, stay grateful, stay inspired. Peace and grace always. Bye.